Everyone wants to be seen as strong, the dependable one, the one who has it together, the one people turn to when things fall apart. It sounds admirable. It sounds noble. But here's the dark truth no one talks about. When you become the strong one, people stop seeing you as human. They see stability, not struggle. They see calm, not exhaustion. They see the version of you that keeps them safe, not the one quietly falling apart when no one's watching. Being the strong one is a silent burden because it's disguised as virtue. You carry everyone's weight so naturally that they forget you're carrying anything at all. You become the emotional anchor, the problem solver, the peacekeeper. And after a while, people stop asking if you're okay. But because they don't care, but because they assume you always are. They've built their comfort on your strength. They can't imagine you breaking. But the psychology of the strong one is darker than people realize. It often begins in childhood, not with choice, but with necessity. Maybe you grew up in chaos, where being responsible kept you safe. Maybe you were the peacemaker in a broken home, learning to anticipate moods before they expect. Maybe you became the caretaker to avoid rejection. Whatever the origin, strength became survival. You learned to fix, to help, to hold everything together, because if you didn't, everything fell apart. That conditioning doesn't fade with age. It becomes your identity. You're drawn to people who need saving, situations that need stabilizing. You mistake chaos for purpose, exhaustion for love. You keep giving even when no one gives back, because deep down, being needed feels safer than being ignored. That's the secret wound of the strong one, the belief that your value comes from usefulness. But here's where the spiral begins. When your strength becomes your identity, vulnerability feels like failure. You start hiding your pain because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You minimize your feelings because you think others have it worse. You apologize for needing rest, for asking for help, for not being okay. You wear resilience like armor, but armor is heavy, and over time, it starts to crush the person underneath. Psychologically, this creates what therapists call compassion fatigue. It's the emotional burnout that happens when you're constantly pouring into others without replenishment. You start feeling numb, detached, even resentful, but you can't show it because the world expects you to stay composed. So you keep smiling while silently suffocating under invisible pressure. People mistake your composure for capacity. They assume because you handle pain well, you don't feel it deeply. They tell you you're so strong, as if that's a compliment. But sometimes, it's a cage. Because what they're really saying is, I don't have to worry about you. And maybe that's what hurts the most. You've built a life where everyone depends on you, but no one shows up for you. There's also a deeper layer of emotional isolation that comes with strength. When people see you as the rock, they stop offering comfort. They assume you'll figure it out. They confide in you, but rarely reciprocate. You become a therapist in friendships, a parent in relationships, a healer in every room you enter. The more you give, the more invisible you become. Because people only see your strength when it benefits them. They don't ask what it costs you. That's the cruel irony. The stronger you are, the lonelier it gets. Because no one realizes how much you hide. They don't see the sleepless nights spent replaying conversations, the silent tears after holding it together all day. The quiet moments when you wonder who would notice if you stopped showing up. Strength becomes your mask, and soon even you forget who you are without it. The strong one archetype often develops something psychologists call emotional hyperindependence. It's when you've been let down so many times that needing others feels dangerous. You convince yourself that relying on anyone equals disappointment. So you build walls disguised as boundaries. You call it self-reliance, but deep down, it's fear. Fear of being a burden, fear of being let down, fear of not being enough without your strength to prove it. And yet, this self-sufficiency that others admire can quietly destroy you. Because humans aren't meant to carry everything alone. We're wired for connection, for mutual care, not one-sided survival. But when you've been conditioned to be the caretaker, asking for help feels unnatural. It triggers shame. Your mind whispers, if I need help, maybe I'm not as strong as they think I am. So you isolate, not because you want to, but because you don't know how not to. The darkness of being the strong one isn't just in the exhaustion, it's in the invisibility. People praise your strength while unknowingly ignoring your pain. They celebrate your endurance without realizing they're adding weight to the load. And after years of carrying it all, something inside starts to shift. You don't explode, you fade. You withdraw quietly, losing interest in things that once mattered. You start fantasizing about escape, not from people, but from the expectation of being invincible. But here's the truth. The strong one breaks too. They just do it privately, behind locked doors, where no one can see the cracks. They collapse in silence, then rebuild before morning, because the world expects them to. But even the strongest foundation erodes if it's never allowed to rest. And that's where the transformation begins. When you realize strength, isn't about never falling apart. It's about knowing when to stop carrying what isn't yours. True resilience isn't built from endless endurance. It's born from balance. And balance begins when you finally admit you're tired of being the hero. What most people don't realize is that being the strong one doesn't just shape how others treat you, it rewires how you treat yourself. Over time, you start internalizing the same expectations everyone else has of you. You begin to believe that showing emotion makes you weak, that taking a break is lazy, that asking for help makes you a burden. You become both the caretaker and the jailer of your own emotions. And that's the cruelest part. When you silence your pain, no one else will notice you're bleeding. This is how emotional suppression becomes identity. You stop crying not because you've healed, but because you've learned there's no space for your tears. You stop reaching out, because every time you did, someone said, "You'll be fine." You always are. You start smiling through exhaustion, because you don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. And the more you pretend to be okay, the more invisible your suffering becomes. Psychologically, this creates what's called chronic self-reliance syndrome. It's when the brain associates vulnerability with danger and safety with control. Your nervous system becomes addicted to composure. You can't relax even when you're alone because your mind is still scanning for something to fix. You find peace unsettling, rest unfamiliar, softness foreign. You're so used to being needed that the absence of crisis feels like withdrawal. This is why strong people often attract broken people. The caretaker energy you give off is magnetic to those who need healing but resist accountability. You end up in relationships where you're the therapist, the savior, the parent, the stability. And it feels purposeful at first. Helping makes you feel alive, valuable, seen. But slowly, that purpose turns into pressure. Because you start realizing that the same people who lean on you would never hold you if you fell. The hardest part to accept is that some people love your strength, but not your humanity. They love your advice, but not your silence. They love your light, but not your shadow. The moment you need something from them, they disappear. The moment you stop rescuing them, they start resenting you. It's not because they hate you, it's because your boundaries threaten the comfort your strength provided. You were never just a person to them, you were a resource. And when resources run dry, people look elsewhere. That realization breaks something inside, because being the strong one often hides a deeper fear of abandonment. You've spent your life preventing collapse, both yours and everyone else's, because you equate chaos with rejection. You don't want to be left behind, so you make yourself indispensable. But the irony is, in trying to avoid being abandoned, you abandon yourself first. And that's the cycle you must unlearn. Healing begins when you stop equating strength with silence. When you understand that it's okay to be the one who needs, the one who cries, the one who rests. Because real strength isn't about how much pain you can hold, isn't about how honest you can be about the pain you feel. Vulnerability doesn't make you weaker. It reconnects you to the parts of yourself you buried for survival. The transformation starts quietly. You stop apologizing for being tired. You stop explaining your boundaries. You stop overgiving just to be appreciated. You start saying no without guilt. You start realizing that love built on dependency isn't love, it's control. That people who only stay when you're strong were never truly with you. They were with what you could do for them. And the ones who truly care, they'll stay when you have nothing to offer but your truth. They'll sit with you in silence. They won't need you to be their healer, to feel close. They'll remind you that being held does not mean you're failing. It means you're human. That's the kind of connection your strength has been protecting you from the one that sees through it. But to get there, you have to allow yourself to fall apart. Not destructively, but intentionally. You have to give yourself permission to not be okay. To release the idea that your worth is measured by your endurance. Because endurance without healing is just extended suffering. When you finally let yourself rest, you'll notice something miraculous. The world doesn't fall apart. The people who are meant to stay don't disappear. The sun still rises even when you don't. That's when you realize you were never holding everything together. You were just holding yourself hostage. And that's the ultimate liberation for the strong one. Learning that it's okay to drop the armor. That it's okay to need someone. That it's okay to say, I can't do this right now. Because strength was never meant to isolate. It was meant to guide you through the storm, not keep you living in it. So rest, cry, fall apart if you must. Because the strength that survives without softness is brittle. But the strength that bends, that feels, that heals, that's indestructible. You've spent enough of your life proving you can carry it all. Now it's time to prove you deserve to put it down. Because the real dark side of being the strong one isn't that people depend on you. It's that you forget you're allowed to depend on anyone else.